as the end of the Premier League season is coming rather quickly, let's talk some soccer. You know, personally, I really love soccer. With only 7 match days left, we are starting to see who will come out on top and who will not be in the standings. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Tonight, where we talk everything Premier League. I'm Cora Rodriguez alongside Owen Cameros and Joshua Armour. So let's start off with the first team. We're going to Man City. I'll go throw it over to you, Josh.
Yeah, Man City, I mean, Kevin De Bruyne is back. That's really all you need to know. They've been steamrolling teams these past couple of weeks, and if I'm going to be honest with you, that's definitely going to continue until the end of the season. I don't see them losing another game. It's April. This is when Man City come alive, like we saw last season. They were playing catch-up, but they ended up lifting the Premier League trophy. However, with that being said, I'm going to put them as second for my standings at the end of the season. They're 1 point behind Arsenal and Liverpool at this point of the season right now, and even if they did win the rest of their games, I really just don't see them see another team, who I'll get to later, dropping points. So that's why I think they'll finish in second. Owen?
So you believe even with Man City not losing a single game, there's still going to be a team that's just going to, think they're going to tie a couple of games and there'll be another team that just wins out?
Yes, I do.
Wow. Okay. Well, I personally, I'm going to go the opposite way. I think Man City is the best team in the Premier League. I've said that pretty much all season. I think Haaland, De Bruyne, Rodri, Stones. You got world class players, world class talents. The thing with Man City, the concern with them and the drawback is that they have a ton of fixtures left. They're in the FA Cup still. They're in the Champions League still. They have 2 matches against Real Madrid coming up. They're going to need their best squads for those matches. The thing is, though, with Pep Guardiola is he's the best rotational manager. He has a really, really good squad rotation. What that means is basically he's not going to play the same player every single week. He'll rest them. He'll bring in other players. And Man City just have such good depth, and they also have top-end talent. Kevin De Bruyne has had more than a goal and an assist per game. So basically, every game he averages at least a goal or an assist. This season, since he's come back from injury, Erling Haaland is still leading the league in goals. I mean, he's still an incredible player. Phil Foden, great player on the wing. He's come up in big games. And I think with City, the thing with them is just they really don't have a ton of insanely difficult fixtures coming up. I mean, obviously they have Real Madrid in the Champions League, but in the Premier League, they have Tottenham away and West Ham home. Those are the only 2 matches that they have against top 8 clubs in the Premier League this season in remaining. So they have kind of breezed through. They play against, some relegation teams, some teams lower half of the table. So I really think City's just one of those teams that really could just win out the rest of their games. And I don't see Arsenal and Liverpool replicating that because of the fixtures that they have coming up and the difficult matches that they have. So I think City will be able to, lift the Premier League trophy come May.
Lucy, Owen, you had some really great points, but personally, I would put Man City in second place. I feel like Liverpool is just a little bit better. Let's actually head over to Liverpool. One of you just please talk about Liverpool a little bit.
Yeah, so I think Liverpool is the most interesting squad left. They have looked really good at times. They have looked really bad at times. Mm-hmm. The thing with Liverpool has been their issue this season has been kind of starting out games. They often play from behind, and that's pretty much worked for Liverpool. I mean, they'll drop. They'll go down to Luton Town early, and then they'll come back and score 3 goals, and after the 75th minute to win that game 3-1. Until it didn't. Until this past weekend, when they went down to they first started by leading Manchester United and then went down 2-1 versus United. They were able to scrape out a draw off of a penalty, and later on past the 80th minute. But still, you can't be dropping games this late in the season, especially to teams that maybe aren't at Liverpool's standard right now. Manchester United is a storied team, but they're not at Liverpool this season. They don't have that same talent, and Liverpool went down and just had to play from behind, and that cost them 2 points, 2 costly points, because at the end of the day, Liverpool could be sitting very pretty in first place had they won that game. Mo Salah is a great player. Liverpool's a great squad. This would be an incredible end of the year and end of a campaign for Jurgen Klopp, who's the manager of Liverpool, who's going to be leaving at the end of the season. The thing with Liverpool, though, is they have some difficult fixtures. They have Tottenham, West Ham, Aston Villa, who are all very good teams, all top 8 clubs, and Liverpool have mounting injuries. Trent's been injured, Alisson's been injured, players like that. So I just don't see Liverpool being able to kind of get over the injury bug that always plagues them later in the season because they don't have a ton of squad depth. So I think that they'll unfortunately sit in second place.
I have to disagree because for me, I'm putting Liverpool in first place. That injury crisis, you mentioned, actually they announced just today that Trent Alexander-Arnold, Diogo Jota, and Alisson Becker will be coming back into the fold within the next week or two. Those are massive players that the team has really relied on to carry them through those early mistakes, as you mentioned. So really, due to the Man United draw, I think they kind of got more of a wake-up call. They can't afford to drop points. They were sitting comfortably. They're still not out of it yet. They are on level with points with Arsenal. However, they're behind on goal difference. But I can definitely see Arsenal dropping points in the future and Liverpool going on to win the rest of their fixtures. That need to win, especially for Klopp with him leaving, like you said, I think that's going to give them the tenacity and the determination to close out all their games in a winning fashion. And that's really going to be helped by the fact that Diogo Jota is returning this late in the season. He's been out since late February. He's really the catalyst of their attack this season, by far their most clinical player, with about 14 goals, 5 assists, and 18 starts this season. I think he'll really cap off an end to a great Premier League title-winning season for Liverpool.
Yeah, Jota coming back is huge for Liverpool, but we've also seen the thing with Liverpool, the reason that I just don't trust them is that we've seen the team is always dealing with injuries. And I know that Trent, like you said, Trent, Alisson, Jota all coming back, but I just feel like it's a situation where, maybe Van Dijk goes down, maybe somebody like Salah goes down for a few weeks because they just have so many games, especially still being in the Europa League, that I don't trust Liverpool and I don't trust their squad depth.
I can see your argument, but, speaking of the Europa League, so far this season, Klopp hasn't really shown much interest in the league. It'd be nice to win it, but you can really tell they're gunning for the Premier League. So I wouldn't be surprised if he puts in more kids around the Europa League fixtures remaining this season and really hammers home this Premier League title charge.
I can see that.
So I can obviously see that too. But let's head over to the third place side with Arsenal. What do you guys think about that?
Arsenal are an interesting team for me. I like Mikel Arteta. I like his squad. I like what he does. There are too many players that play that are too. There are a few players that are way too important for Arsenal. And if those players have bad games, we've seen what Arsenal turn into. Arsenal are a streaky team, and they're a team that frankly rely on their star players, Bukayo Saka being one of them, Saliba in the back. There's players like that. The thing with Arsenal, they have a keeper issue. They don't have a solid number one keeper. They have a ton of players playing a ton of minutes for the club, which leads to injuries. And look at their remaining fixtures: Aston Villa, Chelsea, Tottenham, Manchester United. 4 pretty difficult fixtures. 4 fixtures that you could see Arsenal dropping points to. And in this Premier League race, teams are already on 70 points, and we still have 7 matches to go. So it's really going to come down to can Arsenal not lose? Can Arsenal go? If they lose a game, that's fine. But if Arsenal loses 2, or if they tie a couple of games, I just don't see them being able to keep up with Man City and Liverpool, and that's going to be the issue for them with these types of fixtures, in such a short amount of time. And if it just turns into something where Arsenal are playing catch up to Man City and Liverpool, hoping for one of those two teams to drop points, I just don't see it happening. So I think Arsenal's going to finish 3rd.
Yeah, I can't help but agree. Look at that schedule. Arsenal, they're a young team, and keep in mind they're still balancing a Champions League run. They're very deep into the tournament, and they could possibly go on and win that. And they haven't experienced the determination and grit that it takes to win the Champions League since 2017. So I think this very young squad is going to have a lot of trouble balancing these important fixtures week after week. And similar to last season, I think that's going to lead them to fall off in the last few games of the season.
Do you think Mikel Arteta is going to put more emphasis on the Champions League than the Premier League?
I doubt it. I think they are really gunning for that that Premier League title. However, you can't just throw away the Champions League at the same time.
Let's head over really quickly to the 4th place. Now, what are you guys' opinions on that?
Yeah, so we have 2 interesting teams between Tottenham and Aston Villa. Both those teams on 60 points. Tottenham, the big thing for them is they have a game in hand. The big thing for Tottenham has been that they have a game in hand on Aston Villa. Aston Villa's played 32 matches. Tottenham's only played 31. So it's kind of Tottenham's race to lose because obviously they've picked up a lot of points in these fixtures. I like Son. I like the Tottenham squad. I just think that they're going to have more of a they don't have anything. They don't have European fixtures to worry about. So I think they're going to focus solely on the Premier League, and I think they'll take 4th.
Yeah, again, I agree. Tottenham definitely taking 4th place. Their record against the Big Six this season has been incredible, and their remaining fixtures, 4 out of the 7 are against these Big Six teams. So a record of 2-3-1 is definitely going to help them going into this season, going to the last remaining fixtures of this season. That's why, I see them just edging out Aston Villa for that 4th qualifying spot for the Champions League. Because, Villa, they're new to the scene. They haven't, challenged for a 4th place spot in decades. So I can't really see them beating Tottenham out with their experience.
So I agree with both of your opinions on who would get 4th, but that's all we really have time for today. It would be interesting to see how our predictions and everything we talked about will become true or not. But for now, follow us on our Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube. For Owen, Cameros, and Joshua Armour, I'm Cora Rodriguez, signing off.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and follow our socials down below.
And as always, we are
Penn State Sports Night.